Steven Universe. Even after a few years of Steven Universe Future finishing, the show has always found its way back into my head. And though I have my gripes with the show, overall, it's still hands down one of my favorite cartoons ever. One thing I really liked about the show was all the little cameos of other franchises hidden in the background. Sailor Moon, Totoro, and even a GameCube. So with Steven and Amethyst being such huge gamers, I decided to throw them and the rest of the Crystal Gems into one of gaming's biggest franchises, Smash Bros. For each of the main Crystal Gems in Steven Universe, I'm gonna go over all the special moves that they would have in Smash Bros, inspired by the many different abilities they've shown throughout the series. With that said, let's use the Gem Warp to the battlefield in 3, 2, 1. Let's start off with Steven Universe himself. Even though Steven's a fan of fighting games, anime, and going on adventures, for the most part he actually is more of a lover and not a fighter. But in Smash, he'll play as your typical balanced main character trope like Mario. Steven's neutral special will be his bubble, which can act kinda like Pit's Guardian Orbitars. Then, his side special can be his shield throw similar to Link's boomerang. His recovery can be his floating ability, again kinda working like Pit's power of flight. Lastly, down special can have something to do with his Watermelon Stevens ability, either like Peach's vegetables where he plucks them out to throw at opponents, or more like Bowser Jr.'s down special where he can summon them to run forward and attack. Next up is Square Mom, Garnet. Garnet is the embodiment of the love between two gems that she's made of, Ruby and Sapphire, and assumes the role as the pseudo-leader of the Crystal Gems. Her main method of attack is the use of her gauntlets, so many of her moves are going to be hard-hitting and super close range. Her standard special will be the charge-up punch kinda like DK's. Then, for her side special, we'll have her shoot gauntlets out like rockets, which can work kinda like Samus or Villager's side special. Her recovery will be the good old Shoryuken, and lastly, her down special will utilize her future vision to predict her opponent's moves and counter, which will work exactly like Schultz. Up next is Amethyst. Amethyst is the wild child of the group and generally jumps into every fight headfirst. Amethyst and other Quartz soldiers have an interesting ability to basically do Sonic spin dash attack, so that'll be her neutral special. Then, using her whip in her side special, she'll propel it forward like Zero Suit Samus. But instead of an electric property, it'll have a flame property. Her recovery will also use her whip as a tether, similar to Joker or Ivysaur. And finally, her down special will work similar to Incineroar's Alolan Whip, but Amethyst will of course take on the form of her wrestling alter ego, the Purple Puma. Now onto Bird Mom, Pearl. Pearl's my favorite character because of her tragic and complicated backstory, but like, literally every single character is pretty three-dimensional, which is why the show is so good. But Pearl's story really hits different for me. If you've seen the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, Pearl's neutral special will be a laser shot out of her spear, kinda like Wolf's laser. Her side special will then have her fly forward and swing her spear, acting identically to Byleth's side special. As her recovery, she'll do an upward slash like Marth's up special, and lastly, her down special will act similarly to Zelda's, but instead of a suit of armor, it'll be one of Pearl's hollow pearls. Next up is Pearl's protege, Connie Maheswaran. Throughout the show, Connie's ability to fight grows alongside the confidence within herself, especially after training with Pearl in the art of the sword. Now, because the swords Connie typically uses are fairly large compared to herself, I'm gonna focus mainly on hard, heavy-hitting moves. Her neutral special can be a forward slash similar to Chrome's neutral. Then for her side special, Connie will execute a combo similar to Marth's sword dance, to reference her training with Pearl. Like Pearl, her up special can also be an upward slash like Cloud's recovery, and finally her down special will be a counter like many of the other Fire Emblem characters. But it'll function similarly to Ike's, frames and all. Moving on to everyone's favorite little Dorito, Peridot. The world quickly fell in love with Peridot after she went through the show's first true redemption arc. Peridot isn't a huge fighter and much more of a tech geek, but does show some unique abilities like her control over metal and the use of her limb enhancers. For her standard special, she'll shoot out a laser that can work similarly to Rob's laser. Side special can utilize Peridot's metallic powers and throw her tablet to control with her mind to return to her. Basically like K. Rool's side special. Her recovery will act exactly like Piranha Plants, with her limb enhancer fingers rotating like a propeller. And to finish off, her down special can be like Snake's remote bombs. Next is Peridot's barnhouse roommate, Lapis Lazuli. Even though it's never stated outright, Lapis is hands down the strongest non-diamond, non-fusion gem we've seen in the show, with the ability to control the entire frickin' ocean. Lapis will of course utilize all the water-like techniques, which is actually pretty rare in Smash. Her standard special will act like Squirtle's water gun, and her side special can be like Greninja's water shuriken. Lapis's other ability of flight will be her recovery, working similarly to Ridley's Wing Blitz. And for her down special, she can use a counter like Corrin's, which is basically like all the other Fire Emblem characters, but does have a water splash effect. As a side note though, I know I'm not really talking about smash attacks, but I can see Lapis's smash attacks working real similar to Bayonetta's. Finishing off the B team, we have Bismuth. Bismuth doesn't appear a huge amount in the show, but when she does, you know a big fight is coming. As a blacksmith, Bismuth specializes in transforming her hands into different forms like blades or a hammer. So to me it made perfect sense to make her standard special showcase this, similar to Min Min switching out her arms. Each form can have unique properties like different strengths and speeds, which can affect all her other moves and specials. Her side special can be a chargeable blow like Kirby's hammer, and her down special can be like Violet's down special, being a super slow but heavy hitting move with super armor. Lastly, for her recovery, Bismuth will do a giant leap that can work like King Dedede's. Last up is someone who's technically not a crystal gem, but is one of the main recurring antagonists of the show, Jasper. Jasper is a quartz soldier like Amethyst and is so strong that she can hold her own against fusions like Garnet. Jasper's moveset will involve a lot of headbutt-like attacks as her weapon of choice is a crash helmet. Her neutral special will be a falcon punch-like attack, but instead using her head. Then, for her side special, she'll charge up and then propel forward head first like Luigi or Pikachu. Like Amethyst, Jasper also has shown the ability to do the Sonic Spin Dash, so that'll be her down special. And lastly, for her recovery, Jasper will again propel herself forward head first in an upward motion, which can work like Charizard's up special. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. If you wanted more Steven Universe, Nintendo, and other crossover content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. If you have any other ideas about other crossovers, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. Till next time, later.